Hey everyone, and welcome back to Martin Luther Moments. Last week we spent some time looking at Martin's early childhood and education, and when we left off last, he had gotten his master's degree from the University of Erfurt, and as desired by his father, was well on his way to becoming a lawyer. However, this wouldn't last long, as an event was coming that would change the course of Martin Luther's life forever. It's there that we'll begin our story today. On July 7th, 1505, less than 2 months after starting law school, a 21-year-old Martin Luther was getting ready to go back to Erfurt after a brief visit home to see his parents. So he packed up some bags of books his father had given him, strapped them to his horse, and headed back to his studies at the university. But before too long, he suddenly found himself stranded down a lonely road, through an open field, as the loud rolling clouds of a roaring storm quickly shrouded the country sky and devoured the light above him. There was no doubt in his mind. Danger was coming, so Martin kicked his panicked companion in an attempt to outrun it. He gave it a shot, but alas, it couldn't be done, so he gave up on escape and slid to a stop through the mud. With the weather at its worst, Luther was now forced to hop off his circling horse and find shelter. He jumped down, his leather boots hitting the ground with a muted sound and sinking deep into the mucky earth. He desperately struggled to free his feet and then fled to the only safety he could see, diving quickly beneath the branches of a nearby tree. By now, the wind was howling, lightning was flashing, the heavens were pouring, thunder was crashing. As Luther stood there shaking like the swaying tree to which he was clinging, his mind started to race, and he soon ended up thinking back to all of the lessons that he learned back in school, of an angry, unforgiving judge of a God that cannot tolerate evil. Martin knew that he was a sinner, and unworthy of salvation, and he felt that if he were to die there that day, it was certainly only damnation that awaited him. He feared for his life now more than ever. Just then, a bolt of lightning shot down from the sky and struck the ground right beside him. The shock knocked him to his knees, and he felt the heat of hell was upon him. So caught in fear from the ground, Martin cried to the sky, "Save me, St. Anne! I'll become a monk if I don't die!" Eventually, the storm subsided, and Martin Luther had survived. And it seemed to him that his frantic prayer to the patron saint of miners was the only thing that kept him alive. So he went home, pondered this promise, and knew what he must do. And despite the best efforts of his worried friends and furious father to talk him out of it, their words were of no use. So Martin enjoyed one last party with his friends before dropping out of school and giving away all of his stuff. His mind was made up. He was becoming a monk. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have left for today, but please be sure to check in again next week. In the meantime, remember your baptism and go in peace.